Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem, and Confidence. Double honors to our apostles, our bishops, our elders, and the octagon that's pushing true fight and sincerity week in and week out. All right? Lord willing, we just being instant in season and out of season. We have difficulties with the camera. All right? But, yeah, so, pretty soon this place is going to be visited. This place is being visited of the Lord with famines, earthquakes, and diverse places. All right? The Lord is visiting this place spiritually as we speak. And it's pretty soon there's going to be a nationwide famine. And we know global, but we're talking about one of the major hot spots in the world, which is Babylon the Great, America. You got nurses, you got people with certain degrees where they scaling down, and where they saying that they basically, in order for your degree to mean something, you gotta be a doctorate or something like that. So you got people that anesthesiologists that help put people under when you're doing a surgery. They saying that their degree, like, it ain't holding the weight it used to hold. You got people, certain engineering degrees and shit, they want them to get a higher level one. And the excuses, they saying that this brings down student loan debt, whatever it is. Nah, it's showing that your high level degrees is just for you to be a high level employee. You starting to be brought low. All right? And I got that from the even though you get shit from scoffer sites too, like Anton James. Where you got people complaining about economic shit. Well, yeah, this place is going down, man. This is Second Ezra, chapter 9, and verse 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure down the time diligently in itself. And we measuring the time. All right? We already know we're at the end of the revival of the Roman Empire. We're looking at how things is going about monetarily, economically. Esau, height of his power, he's nearing his end. Esau is a so-called white man. That's how we measure it. World current events. We're in the lower level of World War III right now. That's measuring the time, looking for the prophecy. That's how we're setting a measure.
It says, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
And Yahushua and the angels, along with the elect, created the world. But Yahushua gets the credit. And Yahushua created this world and he's visiting it. He's beginning to visit. He's visiting it spiritually, but he's going to make a physical presence. Standing on a main chariot, which the world calls spaceships or UFOs. A mountain-like ship. To destroy and deliver the elect. And take the crowns of these rulers of this planet.
Verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people
There's
in the
earthquakes
world,
all around the world and uproars of the people. The people complaining and marching and complaining about government. And totalitarianism and shit like that. The people are complaining and being mistreated.
says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning.
That's right. So the Lord always prophesied against the kingdoms. Jeremiah 28:8. The prophets of old prophesied of both against many kingdoms of war, evil, and pestilence. Right. And the spirit, technical difficulty, Satan, where spiritual demon. But yeah. So what do we left off?
I got you. This is
Okay, forget it, yeah. Basically,
anything makes an uproar of the people.
earthquake. That's taking place now. You got different parts of the world, people uproar, and earthquakes all over the globe. More than usual.
Says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee,
Yeah.
even from the beginning.
Even from the beginning. So the Jeremiah 28:8, the prophets of old prophesied both against many countries and kingdoms of war, evil and pestilence. And the spirit of prophets are subject to the prophets. Lord willing, we those men, we're doing the same thing now. Prophesying this king ruling this world right now. And this is and his system is his power structure is NATO, EU, and America. Gog, Magog, and Russia. All right? And their allies, China, Iran, and so on. North Korea. All right? We prophesying against them. Because the Lord, the other part of World War N, that when they warring with each other, the angels are going to appear. And they're going to stop, they're going to cease from fighting amongst each other and try to fight the Lord. Because the Lord going to put it in their spirit to do so.
This is Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 1. It says, moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it.
Mount Seir, the so-called white man in this modern-day Mount Seir, Mecca. And we're prophesying against it. If we're for the Lord, we got to be against all these other nations got to fall. And in order for His kingdom to come, all these other nations got to fall. So we're praying for the decimation and destruction of this kingdom.
Producer, this is Psalms chapter 94 and verse 16. It says, who will rise up for me against the workers? Who will rise me against the evildoers, or who will stand up for me?
Yeah. All right. So let me get that. You got it.
I'm gonna
jump down.
Verse 20. It says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with me?
The throne of iniquity now ain't supposed to have fellowship with the nation of Israel. It ain't having a fellowship with the elect. It's having fellowship with the sellouts. So that when they sell their soul, they're marked. Because they want to live it up on this side instead of suffering. Instead of suffering with their brethren. So good, they die with the enemy.
It says, which frameth mischief by our Lord.
So yeah, they frame of mischief by law, these elites. Their legislation, man, they draconian law, man. They speak as a dragon. That's how their whole law system is corrupt. Their whole economic system is corrupt. It's a weapon. It's social engineering. We not ignorant of Satan's devices.
Says, they gathered them together against the soul righteous.
Yep, they meet in secret to try to get us off the street, to try to imprison us. Oh, this is treason, what we're doing.
Yep. Domestic terrorists.
Domestic terrorists, we're preaching hate. This whole country is built off hate. The whole system, you nations came in power off of hate. What do you mean?
It says, they gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood.
They condemn the innocent blood, man. That's what they persecute us in secret. We're targets. All right, and when that time goes, they're gonna come hunting for us. That's why the Lord gonna have martyrs, but the Lord gonna also protect His men. Even the martyrs gonna have that spirit that thou will honor. So it is what it is.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief.
They're think tanks, they brainstorming, they have to do mischief and pass wicked legislation. And they do all that, a lot of that legislation on these fucking satanic holidays. On these, all of them holidays, anything that's a celebration outside of the scriptures is a satanic day.
Right.
They're feast days. They set the legislation up. And they do thousands upon thousands of legislation and they slip it in. All right? They don't sleep unless they did mischief. They own it minute by minute. Just like the men of the Lord, like the apostles, they constantly throwing out information. That's the so-called white man. He's doing it continually too on the left-hand side.
Right. So it says, for they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause something to fall.
You gotta cause something to fall, man. They on it, man. They on it. You saw Elon Musk when he was building his companies or whatever. He said, yo, he probably get 1 hour of sleep, 24 hours out of 24-hour day. He was like, yo, it's unhealthy, but that's what he was doing. Well, we believe him. That's how they on it like that, man. They on it.
Yeah, because their whole agenda, where they want to push a 2030, where they want to have, you know, a technocracy type of government being ran. You know what I mean? Where everybody is digitally presented with a digital ID, you know, digital currency, you know. Yeah, everybody's going to be in that one database, man. That's what they want, the ruling elites, man. And eventually they're pushing for the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast, according to Revelation, the 13th chapter, man. That's the end goal. That's what they really want. You know what I'm saying?
And the Lord, and it's gonna happen. And the Lord already knows. The Lord already got it. Who's sanctioned to get it and who's gonna get it already. Everything just gonna play out now. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna happen. That's our location. You know what I mean? Because I travel back and forth. I'm not trying to just keep paying single fares. I get the unlimited shit while it still lasts. But yeah, that's just showing that, yo, this digital, this 100% digital thing is right here at the doorstep.
Right. I got you right here. This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them.
Yeah, the nation of Israel is rejoicing, elect, and you heathen rejoice also. Right?
It says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth.
Woe to the inhabitants of the earth. You know, starting with the so-called white and on down to all the nations and 2/3 of our people. Earth and sea represent the people. Right?
It says, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath.
Now, starting with the elect, the devil has come down unto you having great wrath. The devil, the so-called white man, starting with his elites. He got his Gurkha truth, his UN truth, his martial law truth.
It says, for the devil has come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time.
A short time. He knows his rulership is short.
Right.
And in the meantime, he's trying to establish his life goal, his generational goal for his new world order, and trying to prolong it at the same time. Seeing as there's a loophole to be forgiven, to be accepted, or to prolong his rule all together.
Yep.
All of these things, man. So like, yo, the Most High, the Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and the spiritual demon Satan is playing ping pong with their mind. They're shifting them in all those different directions. They're trying to prolong this new world order. Yo, it's for real.
Yeah. It shows you that it's really just like you said, it's the Lord working on the minds of these elites, man. You know, and these you know, kings of the earth to basically
Yeah.
This is Proverbs chapter 21, verse 1. It says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord.
The king's mind. The king's mind and his spirit is in the hand of the Lord. So that shows you free will doesn't exist. It's whatever you got to program. Your program to be the wicked, the righteous, to go off. It's a program. You know that? That's it.
Right.
The Lord programmed everything on the planet. Everything in this material realm is programmed to obey. Man, everything in existence is programmed to obey Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and ultimately Yahweh. Everything is programmed to obey the powers. It's a set program. We all got the earth set program.
Yeah, Satan. Who do you think Satan works for? He works for the Heavenly Father, man. Yeah. Satan ain't doing his own thing. That's what you Christians fail to understand. All right?
Creation can't reply or ask why.
Yeah.
You created if you created to be a tree or a leaf, you created to be that leaf or that tree. That's it. You created to be a drop of water, you that drop of water. You know? That's it.
Let me read on, right? It says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whatsoever he will.
The Lord directs the current in the rivers of water, so does he direct the people, the minds, and spirit. All force, all energy, all right? Because everything is of the Most High's cloth.
Yeah. Scripture says that man's goings is of the Lord.
Yeah.
How then can a man understand his own way?
You can't understand your own way or predetermine your way. You know, it's an illusion. That's why we say Lord will. It's an illusion.
I got time. This is Romans chapter 11 and
this word gonna go out. Satan keep kicking us off. The Wi-Fi's messing up. You know, Satan went digital on us, man. If you be with Satan in the virtual, in the digital YouTube realm right now, man. Fucking shit up. He doing his job. But he can do his job, but soon we're gonna have dominion over him. Physical and spiritual.
This is Romans chapter 11, verse 33. It says, oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of the Most High, how unsearchable are his judgments and his ways past finding out.
You don't know the mind of the Most High, the wisdom of the Most High. You'll never touch on an inkling of it. That's above you. You will never know the thoughts of the Most High. All right?
The scripture said that he declares the end from the beginning.
Yeah. You know what that means? That means the Most High, it stands outside of all of these things. The Most High is not bound by time.
Right.
The Most High, it could be everywhere at once. He could be in the past years as we speak, in the future. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why you see Akim saying, yo, a lot of brothers could be in them chariots looking down. The elect could be looking down at their past when all the way they're there, because when you outside, we're 3D, we're three-dimensional. You know what I mean? The spiritual realm is the fourth dimension and beyond. So outside of those realms, that's how that's possible. They're not bound by that. Yeah, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because the scriptures is already written.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Prophet, all the prophets, mainly, they seen America being destroyed. They seen the kingdom. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. We're living this reality out.
But the brother saying it is true. You know what I mean? We basically just going through it right now. You know what I'm saying? Going through in this lifetime.
Yeah.
But, like, we're somewhere in another realm, living in the kingdom right now, man.
Yeah.
Let me read on. It says, for who hath known the mind of the Lord,
No one knows the mind of the Lord, man. You all right? The Most High, Yahweh Shai. That's why Yahweh Shai has to wait upon Yahweh. You know?
It says,
It's a compartmentalization of compartmentalized wisdom.
right.
All right?
It said, or who have been his counselor, or who have first given to him, and it shall be recompensed unto him again.
Yeah, so no one could judge the Most High. All right? No one could tell or question the Most High.
Right.
This what's to be, is to be with the Most High. Like, yo, you can't ask no questions. You can't inquire why this or why that don't exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That don't exist. Oh, I'm not in the camp. You know what I mean?
That's what it means. You know,
You can't question.
his name his name alone means, you know, Yahweh. He is. He exists.
You know what I mean?
So ain't nobody before him. You don't have to. You know what I mean?
The Most High.
This is his movie. You know what I mean?
Most High.
We just blessed that he gave us his word, right? And then we're Israelites, man. Because even 2/3 of our people, the ones that don't make it on this go around, guess what? You still won't be coming back in the kingdom. You won't be righteous, man. You're going to be in the right state of mind, you know, through that new covenant, man. We're going to be changed. We're going to have that new extraterrestrial body, you know. And we never going to go off ever again, man. So it says, verse 36, for of him and through him and to him are all things, to whom be glory forever.
That's right. So the Most High is to be glorified and magnified forever. You got angels that just worship and praise the Most High continually in the spiritual realm.
Yeah, they call the crowns over
Yeah.
their heads. Cast down their crowns.
You know what I mean? So once again, free will doesn't exist. All right? You can't question why this and why that. It's because the Most High said so. That's it.
Right.
You know, you can't go against the authority of the Most High, man. And especially those thoughts and those things don't even exist in the spiritual realm in the fourth dimension in that third heaven. All that shit out the window. You know what I mean? But pretty soon the world gonna see the true authority when Yahweh Shai returns. Revelation 1 and 7.
I got you right here. This is Matthew chapter 24 at verse 30, right? It says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven.
All right.
And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn.
Sign of the Son of Man in heaven. Because why? Because he gonna open up the sky. The Lord is gonna be in the sky on a main chariot with thousands of chariots.
It says that every eye shall see the Lord. Man.
Yeah, even the blind.
Yep. It says, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn.
All the people are gonna mourn. Because playtime is over. They already know it's going to be judgment time and deliverance. They know it's all game is over. When you see the Lord standing on a main chariot, that defies all human belief. Laws of physics and everything, man. How is this? They're going to know.
Well, the Lord's going to put it in their spirit to understand in that day that, you know, they fucked up. Whoever is on the earth that haven't repented and haven't called on the true name, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, in that day you're going to realize, like, oh shit, I fucked up. Because you're going to be seeing all type of people getting zapped and destroyed, and you know what I mean? And then you're going to see the elect getting beaten up, man.
Yeah.
And then they're going to say, oh shit, what's that? Wisdom of Solomon?
Yeah. You counted their life for nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, so It's gonna be a dreadful day, man. It's scary, man.
Let me read on, right? It says, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
Clouds of heaven. Now, this is not no actual cloud, man. This talking about ships. This is talking about spaceships.
Chariots of Israel.
This is talking for the world to understand. This is meaning spaceships. We know those are the chariots of the Lord. Chariots of the Most High. All right. Those are also thrones.
It says, with power and great glory, because the Lord said He's not going to meet thee as a man, right? Nope. You know, when He comes back, you're going to see the Lord for what He is, man. You know? All right? You're going to know that that's the Lord, man. Okay? He's not going to come meek and humble. He's going to come as a royal lion this time, right? Okay? Verse 31, and He shall send His angel with a great sound of a trumpet.
Yeah, it's gonna be a major like ram's horn noise. All right, and that sound is gonna be a war alarm. That's a war alarm. That's gonna be a war alarm. You know what I mean?
Yep. Says that he's gonna travail he's gonna yell like a travailing woman.
Yeah.
But you're gonna basically cry out, man.
So that war alarm is gonna shake everything that has a spirit.
Right.
Meaning plants, trees, people, everything on this planet gonna acknowledge the Most High's presence. But mortal men, they're gonna be afraid. Scam likely.
It says, and they shall gather together His elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
All right, so this is north, south, east, west. Scam likely again. See, Satan. North, south, east, west, all over the regions of the earth, and a lot of the elect is not going to look like the tribes. They're going to look like the other nations. Okay?
Right.
You have some that look like the tribes, and then a lot that's not.
That's right.
All right?
Yeah, this thing is only for Israel, man. As far as the elect is concerned. Not, when you got these guys talking about that other nations could be saved and delivered, man. Nah, they gotta pray, man. Especially Esau either.
Let me get world without end.
That's right.
Yeah, so the Lord is not, all nations cannot be saved, man. All nations cannot be saved.
Hey, even on this side,
Yeah.
you don't live like how Esau lived, how the rich live, how, the ones that are in power live. It's always got to be, that balance where you got those that are on top and those that are on the bottom, man. That's how every society operates, man. It's not where, you got those that are having a ruling class and then you got those that are basically the servants. Yeah, they're not going to be in the same, district or neighborhood. Even, you got them gated communities and all that.
You got private parks.
Yeah.
Yo, you got private parks.
Yeah,
You can't come in.
Yeah, you just can't pop up
And
on
it doesn't mean your person be like, y'all just being you just complaining because you're not economically stable or whatever. Well, listen, we can have money and still can't buy certain condos and certain houses. Certain things you gotta be brought in the loop. There's certain cars, even if you got the money, they won't sell it to you until you had a list of other cars and you be accepted in. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yo, niggas,
certain Rolls Royces, you can't just...
certain Bugattis, you can't, even if you got the money.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because they don't want any niggas dropping this shit.
So, that's the shows. People don't look, you know what I mean? They don't look at things, man. You know what I mean? They vet who could get certain things, man.
I got you. This is Hebrews chapter 13, verse 14. For here we have no continuous city.
We don't got a continuous city, man. Nowhere on the planet we have a continuous city. And with a continuous city, You have perpetual mineral rights or mineral resources to compete on a global scale with import and export. We not in a position like that. We all got our homeland. Our lands are stolen. This is not our rest.
That's right. So, well, here we have no continuous city, but we seek one to come.
We seek one. We seek in the kingdom. Because then the Lord gonna piece us off, and we're gonna have the world and the worlds, man.
That's right. Hey,
But the home base is this planet, and the homeland is Israel. But then we're gonna branch out.
Right. The Lord said He's going to enlarge the tent, our tent.
Yeah.
You know? Basically, our habitation. We're going to be in different parts. You know, different galaxies, different. You know, it ain't just going to be because if we're going to live forever, we can't all live together on on Earth.
Yeah.
You know, the Lord. He made. That's why you always hear about Esau discovering new planets and new galaxies and all that. That's set up for us, man.
That's the place that the Lord prepared.
Yeah.
Preparing and constantly preparing for us.
Yep. I got it
You know
right
what I
here.
mean?
Got it. This is John chapter 14 verse 2. It says, "In my Father's house are many mansions."
That's the universes, the multiverses. All right, all them galaxies and space is constantly expanding. That's showing that the Most High is, Yahweh Shai is doing that. Because space is infinite.
Right.
This realm of outer space of these multiverses is infinite. All right? So he stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain. The universe, multiverses, or whatever you want to call it. Constantly, it's no end to it.
Right.
There's new things being created.
Yeah. And you think when we in the kingdom, it ain't gonna stop there. It's still gonna be creation going on, man. The Lord's gonna always be creating new stuff for us, man.
Yahweh Shai is infinite, and He gonna make us eternal where we went, and we're not gonna die.
It says, "In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you."
Yeah, if everything was finite, the Lord would have told us. He would have told us. We don't gotta look at Neil deGrasse Tyson or anybody or these books to say, space is infinite. The scriptures put us on game.
Right. It says, "I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself."
So He's going to prepare a place, and He's gonna come again to judge and deliver.
Said that where I am, there you may be also.
Yeah, so we're gonna be joining the Lord. Now, why you always hearing these stories of chariots, planet-sized chariots or whatever out of space, and Esau sees it on his telescopes and things? The Lord, the angels is surveying the planet, and also doing other things out there.
Right.
You know?
That's right.
So they might be looking at something light years away and see the chariots doing something. You know? We don't need that visual confirmation because the scriptures already told us what's going on.
And the scripture says that the eyes of the Lord are upon the central kingdom.
Yeah.
You know, so the angels are always watching, man. They always, especially on this place in America, Babylon the Great, man. All right?
Yeah.
They're scoping this place out, man.
Yeah.
Eventually this place is going to be destroyed.
You got chariots just scouting, just surveillancing. You know what I mean? Like, reporting back, showing their presence. Esau can't do nothing. Esau throwing his little paper rocks. His weapons is like paper rocks. He's throwing paper rocks to that's like me throwing a paper ball at your whip. You know what I mean? What is he going to do?
Yeah, well, they showed you that. Remember, they shot a missile at the chariot. The shit bounced off.
Yeah, what you doing?
I got you. This is Psalm chapter 7, verse 11. It says, "The Most High judgeth the righteous, but the Most High is angry with the wicked every day."
Most High's angry with the wicked every day, and who is the wicked? The so-called white man starting with the elites. All right, he's angry with them every day, and that anger is just building up.
Yeah. Wicked also goes to 2/3 of our nation, man.
Yeah,
you niggas is wicked too.
Yep.
In fact, it said, you know, it said the righteous surpass the deeds of the wicked.
yeah.
You know, you got Jake, man, especially these YNs. Hey, these YNs are off the hook, man.
Out of control.
You know, especially out there in Chicago, Chirac. You know, you heard about that story with them fucking kids. They beat up the mother. She was pregnant. She was, I think, a son or a daughter or some shit was getting bullied, and all of the little niggas jumped her and her kid, man. Shit crazy, man. When the scripture do say, it said,
They're like wild bulls in the neck.
yeah, but it, also it said, menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. Yeah, these little
they fucking monsters,
little YN niggas, that's what they are, man. So when the Lord really placed judgment on you niggas, man, hey, just like Elisha, when he pulled down, she-bears,
they disrespectful.
Yep.
Disrespect their elders. Disrespect their elders and saying things. You know what I mean? No, you know?
Yeah, Lord's gonna soon, he gonna put the spirit.
Like one dude I'm cool with on a job, he be telling me like people be playing, you old or whatever, and he told me like, yo, like nobody wanna be called old. I'm like, I'm cool with him. I'm like, no, I didn't do it. That's my boy.
Right.
I'm like, yo, man, listen, they gotta make it to your age, number one. And how the strength you got, and he ain't even that old. He not in his 60s. Not even mid-60s.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, you're not even old, man. I'm like, yo, well, I don't want to keep blabbering, but I'm like, yo, they gotta make it to your age first. You know what I mean? Maybe they gotta make it to your age. But you know what I mean? Cause he getting it in more work than them, and he older than them. You know what I mean? But yeah, but that's the thing, is a respect. They don't reverence the older men for guidance, wisdom, or whatever. You know, they just cast a person off like, yo, nigga, they've been on this earth when you was just an itch in your daddy's nuts, man. So like, yo, look, show some respect.
Right, that's right, brother.
Get over that.
That judgment is gonna come hard on 2/3 of our people, man.
Yeah.
That's why the Lord, he said in Ezekiel, let me get that real quick.
You know, even though he's not in the truth or whatever, but I'm just saying, we be at peace with all men and be respectful.
Right.
Because just because a person is older, an older person, you don't know what a man probably did in their past, or what they're capable of. See, a lot of our people, that's how they get caught up in a snare when they don't know how to, like, I don't know, I'm using the word discern situations or move correct, and then they wind up being put in the grave.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I got you right here, man.
Watch out,
This
watch
is
out.
First Timothy, chapter 5, verse 1. It says, rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father.
Yeah, just like first and foremost, our hierarchy of leadership, our apostles, our bishops, our elders, rebuke not an elder. Reverence him as a father, because they are spiritual fathers. And then in the world, if a person is not being wicked, respect an elderly person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You know? And you guys are guys that come into this thing and learn from our elders, our apostles, and you know, you see the disrespect they show to them.
Yeah, and it's like, yo, they didn't put themselves up And we're not being like, we're not being what a person called front, because we just telling it how it is. It's a thing of respect and the order and respect. You know what I mean? And that's what kept us alive all of this time, by having respect. You know what I mean? And you see, when you see that it's a spiritual thing and a judgment, whenever someone disrespects the hierarchy and the order and the elders, shit goes wrong.
That's right.
They don't repent, and they just be devious and say all manner of things, and their whole shit get jacked up. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you can't say they make one mishap or misspoke. They just keep doing it, and it shows that's how they just get pulled out their position.
Right.
It's a pattern, man.
Yep. It said, and the younger men as brethren, right?
Yeah.
It says the younger as sisters with all purity.
Yeah, so we gotta we can't be out here just disrespecting each other and things like that, man. You know what I mean? We can't be acting like animals, man. That's why these nations look at us like this. You know what I mean? We're looked at as a people that can't control our emotions and conduct ourselves in the right manner.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, it wasn't always like that though.
Yeah.
You know, because us going through these curses, man, that shows how Jake has become low, man.
Yeah, because we couldn't do that. We couldn't do that in the ancient world. In certain things, after a while you're gonna get checked, and then you're gonna be brought forth, and it's gonna be a death.
Right, especially if you had like any disrespectful kids. You know what I mean? You take them to the elders. You know what I mean? They don't want to listen to them. Guess what? They get stoned. They get put to death.
Yeah.
I got something though. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, and we start at verse 5. It says, "Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me."
Statutes and judgments, order and law, God.
That ye should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them. For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations.
This is our wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations. Follow the Lord's statutes and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. The other nations to see that and understand order. You know what I mean? But we're out of order, and look how we're looked at. We're looked at as people don't know how to respect themselves, how to be a pit, falling down and shit like that. You know what I mean? People just look at us like we're animals, man.
Tattoos on their face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Got their fingernails
walking around looking
that.
like a damn newspaper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pants off their ass.
Yeah.
Jake is through out here. Man.
Yep, and we're not talking about brothers that's in the truth that might have markings with. You know what I mean? They know what it is now.
Nah,
but we're talking about people in the world. Yeah, people got the shit in their face.
Yeah,
that's wilding out like, yo, like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
What is that? The fuck?
Hey, even going back then, like, back in the early 90s, you really seen Jake with tattoos, man.
Yeah.
You know? And that was the thing where it was like guys like Allen Iverson, Tupac, they first came in with that whole culture of getting tatted, getting the sleeve and all that. But before then, it was mainly Esau that was doing that shit, man. Our people wasn't into that shit.
Yeah.
Piercings and all that.
You maybe had Navy and military dudes that put their fucking shit on their arm or whatever.
Right. Yep. It says, let me read that again. It says, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nation.
Sight of the nation, because we're a holy people, man.
Which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding
people. Yeah, because we're supposed to be a beacon of light to the world, man. an example how to conduct yourselves. But yet, we got our people acting like a bunch of heathens and animals, man. Bunch of heathens and animals. You know? We see how it is when we working amongst them, man. How they act, man.
We don't even want to be around them. You know what I'm saying? You know? It says, verse 7, for what nation is there so great, who have the Most High so nigh unto them, as the Lord our power is in all things that we call upon him for?
Yeah, and we have the Lord put a name upon us. Yasha Allah. He is the Prince of the Power. Zion, the monument. Alright? So, but we not acting like the Lord's people, man. We become worse than the nations. You know?
I got you. This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 2 and verse 15. It says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee.
These nations don't want to speak to you, or you, talk shit about you in private, make jokes on how you conduct yourself, your entertainment. All right?
Yeah,
White flight.
Yeah, but now, you know, they're going to be our entertainment, man.
Yeah.
You know, because all the shit talking and, you know, we were the basically the butt of every joke and, you know what I'm saying? Hey, it's going to be your turn, man. You going to be the new niggas, man.
Y'all going to be the new gladiators, man. Y'all going to be the new gladiators. You better entertain, too.
Yeah, the scripture said we're going to meditate terror on you, man.
You know what I mean?
Let me read on. It says, they hiss and wag their tail wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty?
Yeah, this is Most High's people. They check the archives. This is the Lord's people. Look how they acting. They gangbanging, they selling drugs. Look how they treat each other. They can't even work together. They wanna flex, meaning floss on each other. Yeah. Look at them. They get a little things and then they talk and look down on each other. They can't come in agree upon anything. You know, look at them.
It says, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty?
That's a perfection. Look, they do graffiti on their own home. They piss on their own property. Look how they conduct themselves. They throw all kind of shit out the window where they live at. Them? I don't want to live next to them. My property value gonna go down. We don't want them in our neighborhood. You got one group. I forgot what thing I think I looked at. You got a group of Edomites. They buying land amongst just for their own kind. You heard me? They saying they want to preserve their race or whatever before they become the so-called minority or whatever.
Yep. It says the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth.
Yeah, we're supposed to be the joy of the earth, the perfection of beauty. We have the robe of righteousness, His laws of wisdom and understanding, which makes us pure and a beacon of light. But we've become worse than the nations, man.
Man, the Lord has brought us low, man.
Brought us low.
Even lower than the bases of men.
We don't have a family structure. We don't have a family structure. So-called generational structure. You know what I mean? Our women, they go on to have other baby fathers. Now that's not me. I'm just talking about the nation. You know, it's
well, who's to blame for that? You know, really, we got to blame ourselves first, right? Because what we've done to, you know, disappoint the Heavenly Father. You know what I mean?
How about you now, Rashad? I might have your woman. Your woman gonna be one time. Your woman gonna buck up, not be in order. You know what I mean? Your woman going to rebel against you.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more.
Yeah, let me read on, right? It says, all thy enemies have opened their mouth against thee.
Yeah, all our enemies. We have enemies. Whoever's not a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American, or 2/3 of them are our enemies. But mainly these other nations are our enemies. They're not going to tell you they're your enemy. In order for them to be up, you have to be down. All right? Did they offer you a seat at the table? No.
It's showing you that Israel will have to be saved from our enemies, right? That's what it said in Luke, the first chapter.
Yeah.
Right? So
These dogs lick thy wounds.
how is it that these nations gonna all get the same salvation, you know, or to be delivered when they're not going through nothing?
That will make the Lord unjust because they're all ruling for a while, man.
Yeah.
They've all been in cahoots with the so-called white man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they all have their lands. We don't have a continuous city, so they all have their lands and mineral resources, and they did business with Esau, and they cut us out the loop. You know what I mean? And if we get anything, we get it at a shitty price. All right? And that's it. And it is what it is.
Yeah.
So
when they do get it, they come with that eminent domain shit.
yeah, they're gonna come in. They use the military. You walk up and you don't believe, oh, what are you talking about? Read all the books from the dude John Perkins, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Read all his books. And he go in how they jacking the Northern Kingdom, man.
Yep. They made all them treaties and,
Come on, man.
you know, basically they shitted on his dad, man. It said, and they say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we look for, we have found, we have seen.
The nation swallowed us up. How they swallowed us up? Because we're prey. We've been preyed upon. We're prey.
I got you right here. This is Hosea chapter 8, verse 8. Israel is swallowed up. Now shall they be among the Gentiles.
Among the Gentiles, these other nations were swallowed up.
As a vessel wherein is no pleasure.
We're a vessel of no pleasure. We go to the other nations for one of all things. We don't have a continuous city or mineral resources. And if any Jakes do got a city, they've been conquered and they'll get it in. It's a called work, get it in. It's a called work, they ass off. If hard work get you to the top,
Right.
why the Mexicans ain't at the top?
Yeah.
Because they're hard workers like a motherfucker, yo.
But he is higher.
You know what I mean? Don't tell me that bullshit.
Yeah.
We all supposed to work.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that don't get you to the top.
Hell no. You got to sell your soul to get to the top.
You know what I mean?
Get that fame and the riches and all that. Like how these celebrities do, and you know, they got to sell their soul, man. All right.
You gotta sell their soul, man. This is a corrupt kingdom, and the riches of this world are corrupt. You know what I mean? You gotta be a scumbag to make it.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world.
We don't love not the world, neither the things that's in it. We don't love the world. We use the world for our day-to-day. We don't love the world. We hate everything in it. We're not a part of it. We don't even belong. We kind of off for where we at. We're not in tune with it. We're not in the same frequency, no matter what. You know?
It says, if any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
If you love the world, the love of the Father is not in you. You can't serve two masters. You can't. You can't serve two masters, man.
It says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world.
Yeah, pride of life is not of the Father, it's of the world, man. And you don't get only one life, you get multiple lives. There's no such thing you get one life. You making your Habashim Yahushua finite. They're infinite.
Those spirits. That's what Jake always got that term, fear of missing out, FOMO.
Yeah, fear of missing out, FOMO. Gotta be a piece of the action. Y'all niggas are brandies. Y'all wanna be down. Y'all wanna be down.
And you're gonna be down, and guess what? You're gonna get the same.
You're gonna be down, you're gonna be in the shit. You're gonna be knee deep in this shit.
You're gonna be that sand.
Remember, what's that drink? Tales from the Hood? You're gonna get the shit.
The shit.
You're gonna be knee deep in this shit. But they was talking about product. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you want to be down, you're gonna be down with this man, and he gets destroyed, man. All right, you're gonna take part in that lake of fire, man. That will be preserved in Esau and the heathen nations, man.
Man, listen, man. Yo, look, all deserts need sand, and you're gonna be sand particles. You know what I mean? You're gonna be remembered. You want generational wealth? Well, you're gonna be a generational element. Or fragment. You're gonna be part of that in Babylon, man.
It says, verse 8, and the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever.
Living forever. Everything else gonna pass. You want to be remembered in the kingdom, you want that status. You know what I mean? This your temple. And your so-called celebrities could get defamed at any moment, man. They make their honor into dishonor, man. You don't even have to be the one that did it, but they put out the perception, and it's just like they did it, even if they didn't. You know what I mean? Look, Esau promote us as being most savage people, right? You got it.
This is
yeah, so nobody's gonna put pity or bemoan the nation of Jerusalem. All right, everybody despises the nation of Israel. Nobody want to be you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You don't want to have that. You don't want to take up that cross, man.
First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 10. What nation has not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils?
Yeah, all the nations have made us a spoil and came up off the nation of Israel. All these nations.
Hey, that's why when the Lord sets forth his judgment upon you heathen nations, he's going to be justified, man. Because when you read Psalms, the 83rd chapter, it goes into all the nations that really had a part in our downfall, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he asking the question, who have not, what nation have not, had a part in our destruction? You know what I'm saying? All these heathen nations, man. The Chinese, the so-called African, the Arabs, the so-called East Indian, all right? These Japanese, all these nations, man. All right? They all had it's not just Esau and so-called white men, all these nations.
We cut off the ranks out of the loop of certain things. And when Trump's a billionaire, right? His father didn't give him no billion. Once his father gave him $1 million, he took that million and turned it into a billion or a couple billion in assets. Took that million and turned it into a billion or a couple billion. Now you got Jakes that have money, but they have access to that information. So about out or be accepted and to make those maneuvers. You know what I mean? So there you go. And now they get showing an inkling of certain information now, which only you have me to believe it's a distraction. So you got hip hop, you got drugs, you got niggas selling drugs, you got niggas the hip hop promotion or whatever, all this other shit with these niggas generating. These are all distractions, whether it's so-called positive or not. These are all distractions to keep you from your Habashim Yahushai and divert your mind for what's really going on or what you really need to know right now. That's my conclusion. That's how I see it, because, you know, a lot of information that's out now, I wanted when I was a teenager. You know what I mean? I learned some shit with stocks, options, and things like that when I was like 17, 16. You know what I mean? But this other shit, I didn't know about. I knew about social engineering, you know what I mean? But see what I mean? And the thing is like that. Esau also had a spamming of information towards Jake. But they're gonna say, oh, you making excuses. No, I'm just telling the truth. But we're gonna close out.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 11, verse 7. It says, what then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for.
They said, Israel done obtained that which you seeketh for. The knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That's why they in this wealth God thing. They think they're going to get salvation with generational wealth. The mosque, Islam, 5%er, and the law of attraction, college institution, a good wife, whatever it is, man, they want to find that what makes fulfill them or whatever. And the only thing that's going to make you free, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You know? So the world didn't obtain that. But Israel, the elect had, and the rest were blinded.
It said, for the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded.
Spiritually, you're spiritually blinded and spiritually dead. You're in a spiritual coma. You're in a spiritual coma, and that's it. And pretty soon, the Lord gonna pull that plug.
Well, the Lord wants it that way.
The Lord wants it.
He wants 2/3 of the nation of Israel, the majority of our people, to be blinded, man. Because if not, he would have to, convert and heal them.
Yeah.
Heal them from their from their sins, basically to be delivered, man. And the Lord doesn't want that, man. Because according to Zechariah, the 13th chapter, it's prophesied that 2 parts of the nation of Israel is going to be cut off here in America, Babylon the Great, and 1/3, which is the elect, is going to be delivered, man. So it doesn't really matter. It's not just if you're an Israelite, it's if you're of the elect, man. That's what it really comes down to, man.
Yeah.
Because really, it's only the election.
That's right. Only elect gonna get this thing.
I read on. It said, according as it is written,
how you doing?
The Most High have given them the spirit of slumber.
Yep. The Most High give them the spirit of slumber, so they're asleep. The Most High made it like that. King David asked, let the table be still.
Eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto the day. You know how they have all this distraction out here in this world, you know what I'm saying, to distract our people, from turning to their power. Yeah. All right, whether it's sports, music, entertainment, all that shit, man. Right. Our people are just, they constantly, it's easy to be distracted in this world.
I was being sincere with an experiment years ago, just with my aunt. I was like, yo, the Lord, his name is Yahweh. The Lord He would be considered a so-called black man according to the scriptures. I read it line by line and showed her, opened the scriptures and went line by line. And she was like, could you just read it? I'm breaking down line by line. And then I asked her, now you read it, what does that mean? I'm going to, so they don't even want the Lord to be who he is. They want their oppressor to be God. They want their oppressor to be the Lord. You see how gone they are? How ashamed of themselves they are?
Yeah.
That means they got low self-esteem,
right, they hate
self-worth.
They hate themselves. And they don't want to see themselves in that light. You know what I'm saying?
Like, yo, I'm sorry for blabbering. I asked the preacher in the church when I was little, when I was young, I don't know what I was, 9 or 8. I said, yo, how God look? You know what I mean? I wanted to know. Right. I said, how he look? And he showed me a picture of Cesare. Showed me a picture of Cesare, yo.
Hey, that's why we gotta say, hey, the water Yahweh Shem Yashah for the apostles, man.
Ask a sincere question. Yeah, the water Yahweh Shem Yashah for apostles. Yeah. Because look,
because hey, we all thought like that.
Because we could have had sellout leaders.
Yeah.
Flipping somewhere else.
Right. Hey,
you know what I mean?
Because you think about it, man. We were all living a lie, man.
We could have had a leader like what's that nigga named Gorilla?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. Hey, the water Yahweh Shem Yashah for bringing forth the apostles.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I said, to bring forth the apostles last, right? I got this is Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 15. It says, and I will, let me read up verse 14. It says, turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord.
Our people backslide. They get the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. They get delivered, and then what they do when things go right, they go back. Pray, oh please restore my EBT. Oh Lord, please. And then what they do? Oh, it's back to business. Oh, get my last. I'm cashing in my stamp. Somebody told me, yo, I'm getting all my back money. I say, yo, save your money. Don't cash that in. Use it for food. Save. I meant the stamp. I said, save your stamp. Don't cash it in. You know what? They're not going to listen. They're not going to listen. They're not going to listen. Well, you got it.
It says, turn, O backslided children, saith the Lord, for I am married unto you.
Yeah, the Lord, we married unto the Lord, so we're not supposed to be pouring after these deities, man. We're supposed to be joining to Yahweh Shem Yahweh. Yeah. That's the only knowledge we need. That's the true knowledge. You got it?
Nah, right, because we're his women.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like it says in Jeremiah 6th chapter, you know, that we're a delicate and common woman. Yeah, to the Lord, right? So we're joined to him through the covenant, the contract that we made.
Yeah, you know, it's supposed to be
Most High made between us and you know,
spiritual and pure. Yeah. Like virgins, don't be out, don't have the spirit of Shaniqua and be out there hoeing. Right. You want to, Shaniqua's out, everybody. I'm sorry, bro.
It says, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family.
Yeah, so that's showing the Lord is dealing, he's dealing with quality, not quantity.
Right.
So he's taking choice gold, man. He's taking things that rare gems.
Yeah. That's why you got guys from the IUIC and INCPK trying to save all black people, man.
Yeah,
the Lord ain't coming back for all black people or all so-called Hispanics or so-called Native Americans, man. The Lord is only coming back for the elect in these times, man.
Yeah.
All right? That's just what it is, man. So I'll bring you to Zion, and I will give you pastors according to my heart.
That's right. So we're going to have leaders according to the Lord's mind. All right?
Which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
And that's what our leaders did. All right? But yet these sellouts, They feed the congregation GMO fluoridated water. They feed them fluoridated, flavor aid. You know what I mean? High fructose corn syrup. They feed the congregation lean. You know what I mean? They giving them that lean. Promethazine?
Yeah. I got it. This is Ezekiel chapter 14, verse 9. And it says, and if the prophet be deceived when he hath spoken a thing, I, the Lord, have deceived that prophet.
Yeah, so the prophet, if he was deceived, the Lord deceived him. So if you was out there the titty bar for the Passover, the Lord deceived you. If you preaching that the mark of the beast is not the MOB, the Lord deceived you. Cornelius is not an Israelite, the Lord deceived you.
The Lord said the deceiver and the deceiver are his.
Yeah.
You know, so either way, you know, the Lord set these guys up from these other Israelite camps to be basically be a stumbling block, you know, for the non-elect, for the ones that the Lord don't desire to, you know, to deliver, man. That's just what it is, man.
I saw a leader deliver himself on the video. I saw a leader deliver his. I'm trying to be funny, you know.
At this point, if you don't see the concept of the mark of the beast being the microchip, you can clearly see that these guys
you just walking with your eyes closed, man.
Yeah.
You crossing the street willingly with your eyes closed, man. No one's that dumb. No one's that dumb, man. No one's that dumb. And if you follow a leader and you're not looking, you're not searching things for yourself, you willingly stupid.
You gotta be like the church of Berea. You gotta be all, you know what I'm saying, looking up information, doing research, right? This can't be, the scripture says the blind lead the blind, they both fall into a ditch, man. You know, you can't just go off of what your leader is telling you. You gotta look things out, man. Just like the apostles tell us.
Yeah.
He said, hey, don't go for, you know, what we say.
And we checked it for ourselves.
You know,
we checked it for ourselves. Right. So it's like, yo, look, man, the MOTB, come on, you can't. What you just trying? What else could it be? Like, come on, man.
Let me read it out because my phone about to die. It said, and if the prophet be deceived when he hath spoken a thing, I, the Lord, have deceived that prophet. And I will stretch out my hand upon him and will destroy him from the midst of my people.
Deceive them and will destroy you, and you're going to be destroyed. And when the Lord returns, the Lord making his spiritual presence out of here, man. Out of here. That's it.
It says, and they shall bear the punishment of their iniquity.
You're gonna bear the punishment of your iniquity. And you was that vessel that was supposed to be shattered. That's it. You was created to be shattered.
It says the punishment of the prophet shall be even as the punishment of him that seeketh unto him. So they both, the one that's listening and listening to that bullshit, you're gonna take part of that same destruction.
Because you didn't cross-reference, you didn't seek things out.
Right.
Study to show thyself approved. You're supposed to search things out after you learn it.
The scripture says, search the scriptures, it says, in it you shall have eternal life, right?
Look at the script. Look, who, what, when, where, why, and how.
Yep.
Why is it the mark of the beast? How is it the beast? What would make that the mark of the beast? What would cause that? Search out the systems that's around right now. You could tell it's the mark of the beast. You know what I mean?
And I was like,
for this time right now.
What else would it be?
Yeah.
You know, but leave it up to them. You know, they'll say anything but what it is, man. You know, but we understand because why it's sold out, man.
You put a needle in the arm or whatever in the head. It's called a clean cut. It's called a clean cut.
Not only that, you see everything is going digital, man. everything is going digital. People, you know, you got banks right now. They're changing everything up, like, you know, for what? To roll out this whole digital system, man. So what else could it be, man? You know?
We had that major crash where everything went to the gold standard, right? That major, now this one is going to be one that's not going to rebound. It's not going to be rebooted or re-jumped. All right, it's going to be, this is done away with. Well, we got a solution. We got a solution. You know what I mean? All right. So with that, we like to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Wakaf, double honors to our apostles, our bishops, our elders, and our Akim. Shalom.